This is the Doomed Channel Krypton, all Superman all the time.
Hey, this is Evan David from the Doomed Channel Krypton, and on today's video, we're taking a look at my top 10 picks for Superman's villains.
Before we move on, if you haven't already, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and make sure to click the bell icon to be notified every time a new video is uploaded.
So one thing I'm going to say about this list is it's not the most top 10 iconic villains or the most culturally impactful, long-lasting villains. It's in Superman's fictional universe, which villains have affected him the most powerfully, personally, that sort of stuff. And that's kind of the criteria I chose when making this list.
The Doomed Channel Krypton's ranking for Superman's top 10 villains. Number 10, the Eradicator. The Eradicator is an ancient Kryptonian AI whose purpose is to preserve the Kryptonian race and culture. It constantly tries to sway Superman to its way of thinking, and when that fails, attempts to overtake or eradicate his human life and attachments. Like General Zod, he is a dark figure from Superman's Kryptonian past, interfering with his life on Earth. Unlike Zod, however, whose main conflict was with Superman's father, Jor-El, the Eradicator takes aim at Superman specifically. He is nearly as strong as Superman himself, and is able to project powerful energy beams, as well as hack into advanced computer systems. Read about him in Superman in Exile, The Reign of the Supermen, and in Superman Rebirth Volume 1. Number 9, the Parasite. One of the Superman Rogues Gallery mainstays, Parasite is able to absorb the life force of any living being through physical touch. In the case of metahumans, he is able to absorb their superpowers. This makes him a deadly foe for Superman, because as Parasite grows stronger from fighting Superman, Superman grows weaker. Parasite established himself as a deadly, serious villain for the Man of Steel in the graphic novel Till Death Do Us Part. We won't spoil it for you here, just know it more than earns him his spot on the top 10 list. Number 8, Manchester Black. Manchester is a powerful psychic who originally set out to be a hero. His ideals of justice clashed with Superman's, however, as Manchester fully believed in ending the lives of the villains he faced in order to rid the Earth of their evil once and for all. Bent on proving the merits of his ideals to Superman, Manchester has used his abilities to push the Man of Steel to the emotional and moral limits. Read about him in Action Comics number 775 and in the graphic novel Superman Ending Battle. Number 7, Imperiex. Appearing mainly in the massive story arc Our Worlds at War, Imperiex is basically DC's version of Galactus, only instead of devouring planets, it's entire galaxies. Imperiex is such a large and overwhelming force, it's the consequences of the devastation he causes, rather than the villain himself, which pushes Superman to the brink in one of the most intense gauntlets of physical and emotional punishment Superman has ever faced. Number 6, Mr. Mxyzptlk. One of Superman's more unorthodox villains, Mr. Mxyzptlk is a near-omnipotent imp from the 5th dimension who delights in tormenting the Man of Steel. Sometimes silly and sometimes sinister, Mixie is a constant thorn in Superman's side. The longevity of their relationship and the severity of the peril he can bring to Superman is what lands him in this spot. Read about him in Emperor Joker and Superman Rebirth, Superman Reborn. Number 5, Lex Luthor. We know what you're thinking. How is Lex Luthor not number 1 on this list? While Lex is Superman's most iconic villain, the effect he has on Superman's heroic career and his personal life are relatively small compared to others on this list. Lex is indeed one of Superman's more formidable opponents, pitting his incredible brain against Superman's brawn. Whether as a sinister businessman or an armor-toting mad scientist, Luthor is not to be underestimated. Read some great stories about Lex in Superman Birthright and All-Star Superman. Number 4, Doomsday. Another evil set loose from Superman's Kryptonian past, Doomsday is a genetic abomination, and perhaps the ultimate life form in the universe in terms of his ability to survive and adapt. Doomsday can be killed, but he can't be killed the same way twice. His biology resurrects him impervious to previous methods of attack. He famously killed Superman with fists alone, and is one of the more powerful humanoid characters in the DC universe. When he's on the scene, it's bad news. Read exciting stories about Doomsday in The Death of Superman, Superman Doomsday Hunter Prey, and Action Comics Rebirth Volume 1. Number 3, Conduit. Conduit's grudge isn't against Superman, it's against Clark Kent. With intimate knowledge of all of Superman's secrets, Conduit sets out to systematically kill everyone Clark loves. Not only that, his powers make him a living supply of kryptonite energy. He is one of the most deadly and personal villains to both Clark and Superman, and is sorely underrated as a villain. Read his story in the Death of Clark Kent graphic novel. Number 2, Brainiac. The boogeyman on Krypton went by the name Brainiac, the abductor of the city of Kandor. Not only does Brainiac have a deep cultural connection to Superman, but Brainiac begrudges Superman as the first being in the universe to actually stop him. Another mainstay Superman villain, Brainiac is formidable for his mind, and the scale and power of his technology is more than adequate to deal with Superman's strength. Almost impossible to kill, Brainiac continues to turn up more deadly than ever. Read about him in the graphic novel Superman Brainiac and Superman, Our Worlds at War. Number 1. Darkseid. The ultimate villain of Jack Kirby's New Gods. Darkseid is probably Superman and maybe the DC Universe's most dangerous enemy. Master of the Omega Effect, which he can project from his eyes, he's also a physical match for Superman, and his evil machinations all but dwarf the schemes of the other villains on this list. If anyone's the big bad, it's this guy. Read about him in Justice League War, Superman, Our Worlds at War, and Superman Batman, Supergirl.
That's it for today's video. Make sure to like and subscribe to be notified every time a new video is uploaded. See you later.